Well, hey, Christ Covenant, I want to talk about where we're headed Sunday as we continue looking at different portions of the book of Acts. And this week we're going to look at Acts chapter 9, and we're going to mainly work our way through verse 19. And what we're going to see there is the amazing conversion of Saul becoming Paul. We're kind of coming out of this part where Saul has kind of overseen the stoning of Stephen. In fact, the ESV heading says in chapter 8 that Saul has been ravaging the church. You see persecution spreads the church. But then as Saul at the time making his way to Damascus, he's going to be confronted on the Damascus road by Jesus himself. He's going to see this one whom he is persecuting. It's an amazing text that we'll look at. And really the main idea that I want us to kind of think about would be two things. It would be that we marvel at the grace of God in conversion so that we can be strengthened by the grace of God for the mission. And so we're going to think through the grace of God that he saves sinners, really awful sinners like us, sinners like Saul. And then he doesn't just save them, he then turns them into instruments he uses for his glory. So we're going to think about God's grace. We're going to think about the doctrine of conversion and think about what takes place in conversion, this miracle known as being born again. And then we're going to think about the mission that we've been called to, what we're trying to think about in this series, the commission of Jesus to make disciples of all nations. We're going to even see how closely Jesus identifies with his people as we marvel at grace. And so I want us just to think through and revel in the grace of God, but we would do that for the purpose of being strengthened by it to be about the mission that God has given to his church. So read Acts chapter 9 all the way down through 19. Think through what Luke is trying to tell us in this story, what God is hoping to teach us. And then let's come together and study on Sunday. I hope to see you then.